My husband and I just reached $300,000 net worth, and we would not have been able to reach this if we didn't follow specific rules. And these rules are things that we stuck to from the beginning of our relationship and things that we're gonna be using until we do become millionaires, hopefully soon. Number one is that we made sure to prioritize saving something every month. Now, that didn't always look like hundreds or even thousands of dollars like it is today. When we first started at ages 22 and 23, we were saving $5, $10, and sometimes even change when we would buy something, because we knew, even though it didn't seem like it in the beginning, we knew that if we had just started somewhere, that compound interest would work in our favor over time. Now, what's important here is to realize that we started out as individuals. We saved individually because we weren't married in the beginning. The good thing about starting out individually is that you're already building the practices needed in order to complete your goals for saving over time. That by the time we did get married and merge our finances, we already had done the groundwork and made it so that our money can work more for us over time. Number two is we avoided debt like the plague. We knew that in the long run, debt would be our biggest downfall. Now, for my husband, that looked like paying off credit cards, making sure that he didn't have too much commercial or student loan debt. And for me, it looked like making sure I got rid of all of my student loan debt. I didn't have that problem with the commercial debt, but I did have student loans, and I made sure to pay those off so that I wouldn't end up in more debt as time moved on. But that also looks like making sure that we avoid unnecessary commercial debt. My husband had a car when he graduated from college. He got it as a gift from his dad. And so he did have that. He had to pay insurance as well as paying for parking, because as you guys know, city parking is super expensive. But eventually we ended up getting rid of that car and made it so that we didn't have to pay for any more insurance, parking, or maintenance, because we knew we didn't want any car payments in the future. We always prioritize living in cities like Denver or Chicago, or even now Seattle, Washington, where we didn't have to worry about not being able to use public transportation. The third thing that we did, and the most important, is we merged our finances when we got married. We semi-merged it. And that's an important detail, that it's semi-merged, because a lot of discourse happens online where people don't agree on whether you should merge your finances once you get married or keep it separate. And part of the reason why we semi-merged it is because we're too lazy to completely merge, but also because we do feel that there are some things that we don't want the other person to have a say over. For us, the way we merged it was we merged our savings and our investments so that we could count that towards our net worth. We also merged our debt so that we could work together to get rid of those. We definitely don't merge like where our paychecks go for direct deposit, and we also don't merge like how we necessarily spend our direct deposits day to day. We really saw the compound interest happening individually after about the 5-year to 6-year mark, but merging it really did help that overall compound effect to take place. So I brought up the videos with my husband, and he actually had 2 additional rules that he thought that I should have added into the video. The first one being to not let people ingratiate you into their lives. In bonita terms, to be less helpful. So what this looks like is being able to tell when it is necessary and when it's not necessary to do people a favor. Also being okay with saying no, even though that might make things uncomfortable or it could even affect your relationships. It really does vary, but putting yourself first and being less helpful definitely was one of the things that helped us reach the network that we have as well. What we found out too is over time, people become insatiable when it comes to the things that you do for them. So, one time could lead to whenever you're needed, basically. Eventually, it becomes that your own time is not actually your own. The second one was to be more critical of the purchases you make. Knowing when enough is enough in terms of food, clothing. I find that as we've gotten older, we've gotten more comfortable with not needing the newest. In today's age, it's really easy to fall in the trap of seeing something, it looking really nice and being like, I need that specific thing right there. And over time, I found that we both have been able to delay our gratification and also just be okay with the things that we had in real time. So we're not seeing the newest clothing item and feeling like we need to get that in that moment. We kept a lot of people out of our business. You know, a lot of people, at least the ones that we were encountering in the beginning of this journey, were curious. We would mention that we were on financial journeys and they'd be curious to our progress. And when we were young and naive, we would be open and honest. We would tell them, you know, this is how much we have saved, this is how much we are investing, this is how much debt we got rid of. And it would open us up to criticism, but also questions and things that made us uncomfortable. So we learned very quickly that we shouldn't let people in our business. People wanting us to fund certain things, people asking to borrow money because they heard about how much we had, and they assumed because we were in a surplus that we should be giving them money if they needed it or if they wanted it. We've had people ask us to go in on a condo, on timeshares, just a lot of things that made us very uncomfortable. So we learned pretty quickly not to let other people be involved in our finances outside of things that we both agreed were a good investment or a good use of our time. We also made sure then that we were level setting with each other. We never would agree to something individually that we didn't discuss first. And that is the key. That also helps build trust, and it makes it so that you guys are feeling more like a team, and it just makes the world of money a lot less daunting. Lastly, but certainly not least, we consult with each other pretty regularly. We make sure that we are always talking, being open and honest with how our finances are doing. I file the taxes for our family every year, which means I have a first-hand look into how much we make pre and post tax, how much we pay in taxes from our paychecks towards Social Security, investments in our 401ks and stuff like that. And I also have a look into how much we need to pay in taxes when it comes to our high yield savings and our qualified dividend. My husband doesn't actually want to file taxes. He wants nothing to do with that. And so what I do is I consult with him. I tell him this is how much we are having to pay. This is how much we put into Social Security, how much we invested in our 401ks this year. And every year we consult on our taxes in that way. And then more semi-regularly than that, we have business-like meetings at dinner or on dates where we just talk about some of the things that we did financially this week, some of the goals that we have in weeks or months or even years to come. It's also a good way for us to level set how we're feeling, how we figure out that something's not working versus working and vice versa. These are all things that I like when we are working towards that goal. I've also found that doing this regularly helps for us to reach our goals together. It helps for us to redirect our energy if we find out that something is not going the way that we planned, etc., and so forth. And that is everything, you guys. That is what we did in order to make sure that we are reaching our net worth goals. We would not have been able to reach $300,000 net worth if we didn't follow these rules. So I want to know in the comments below what you guys think. What are some things that you have going on in terms of your net worth goals? What are some rules that you follow that you 100% never go back on, you never falter with in order to reach your goals? That's what I want to hear in the comments down below, and I will see you in the next video.